to realize with this example from Fairly Odd Parents, where for some of the key poses, it just shows him transitioning from one key pose to the next. That is what I'm going to do with the character. We're just going to have him transition from one key pose to the next, and he's going to do a lot of talking. So let's work out the timing now. We're going to go to frame number 1. We know that the first key pose is when he shrugs his arms over to the right, like that. So what I would do, when you look at the example, we want to have him stand stationary for one location for a period of time, and then we want to have him transition into this pose smoothly. If I was to go ahead and turn on, let's leave it where he's being tweened. The animation is moving from frame number 1 to frame number 61. What would happen is that the character would slowly tween all the way to frame number 61. We don't want that. We want the animation to start somewhere at around frame. And this is where we're going to use our judgment, and we're going to estimate and experiment with the timing of the animation. So I'm going to turn off the in-betweens. Let us start at frame number 50. We're just experimenting. So I'm going to add a keyframe at frame number 60. And what's going to happen is that from frame number 1 to frame number 50, Dino Boy, he's going to stand stationary for that duration. And when it reaches frame number 50, he's going to tween into that key pose, which is where when he's shrugging his shoulders. So if I was to work out the timing of this, you would actually see where we'd have better timing. But if I was to play it now on WebEx, you're not going to see it clearly. So when we resume class tomorrow, I can show you the timing of the animation. But we want to hold the key pose from frame number 1 to 50 and have him tween into the pose right there. So it's going to hold this pose for a period of time, and the next key pose happens at frame number 120. Now I'm going to use 10 frames as a base point for experimenting. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to frame 110. I'm going to add a keyframe. By adding a keyframe here, it's pretty much copying the same keyframe that is at frame number 61 and putting it here at frame number 110. What that does is that holds that key pose for that duration of time, and when it reaches to 110, he starts to tween into that motion. Because if we didn't have the keyframe here at 110, he would be tweening from frame 61 to 120, and that would have been a very slow and long tweening. And the animation wouldn't look, the transition would look too slow. So that is why we start the transition here at 110, and we have a shorter period for him to transition from this pose to that pose. All right, let's go to the next key pose here. The next key pose happens at frame 157. So we can go to like maybe 147, add a keyframe here, and that will do a transition from 147 to here. Put a keyframe right here. I'm going to turn the in-betweens off there, right there. Mm. Equal needs to. This is why I'm being confused. Right. I'm going to put another keyframe. This one happens at frame number 183. I'm going to go to 173. Add another keyframe here. So between frames 160. Right. So from 160 to 173, he holds that key pose, and then 173 to 183, he transitions to that key pose. When you're doing the lab, it's going to be, you're going to have a better understanding. It's just because you're learning it for the first time, that's why it might come across as confusing. All right, so this one happens at frame 220. So let's say 210, we add a keyframe right here. So from 210 to 183 to 210, he doesn't move, but he transitions right here from 210 to 220. There's another key pose here at 249. So I'm going 239, other keyframe. Other keyframe here. And you have him trying. So you can have a remember before you hit the save button, you press the save. Because that tends to crash when you're playing.
You barging in here trying to figure out if we're up to something. See, like old times.
Let me put the camera being masked. I'm going to loop the animal.
One, you barging in here trying to figure out if we're up to something. It's nice. Are you up to something? See, like old times. One, you barging in here trying to figure out if we're up to something. It's nice. Are you up to something? See, like old times. One, you barging in here trying to figure out if we're up to something. It's nice. Are you up to something? See, like old times.
So if you look at the animation, you realize that we have the body movement down in terms of the timing of the animation, but there isn't any lip sync that is occurring. So the fact that after you plot out your key poses and you work out the timing for your animation, the next step is to work out the lip syncing, which is to swap out the mouth shape. We're going to focus on that in the next class, but I'm just going to start off on an introduction on what to look out for with the mouth chart. So I'm going to show you what a mouth chart is.